Yep, Hickok 45 here, your internet shooting companion, come to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee with a machine gun. No, not a machine gun. But yes, Tennessee, the home of who? Alvin York, Loretta Lynn, Johnny Cash, Jack Daniel, yeah, and Jeff Quinn of Gun Blast. Been watching him since I was about 10 years old. Yeah, he's that old, really. Anyway, welcome to the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee. Glad to have you. Oh, can I shoot this? Will it be okay? Let's do. All right, let's take a shot. Whoa. Safety off. Rounding the chamber. And get a hog. Oh, yeah. Maybe a gong. Nice sound, huh? How about a cowboy? I moved the cowboy. See him down there? Bowling pin. Woo-hoo. What else? What else needs to be shot? Oh, man. How about that propane tank? Killed him with that big 45 slug, didn't I? I'm going to go back to the gong. Oh, it's empty. Yeah, model 1927 A1 Thompson submachine gun. That's not a machine, but it is an SBR. A little shorter than normal, right? Yeah, not a machine gun, but or else you would have heard some rapid fire, don't you imagine? But it is an SBR. John had it SBR'd, or he ordered it that way. Okay, short barrel. Yeah, so more realistic, huh? Pretty cool. It's John's. Well, we're both on the truss, but it's John's. Yeah, pretty cool. Let's break it. Oh, I broke the stock already. Oh, well, that's all right. He won't mind. Yeah, so pretty interesting. I just brought it out to shoot it. He's coming out later, and we keep the paperwork in the gun box, of course. You have to have paperwork with these things. Yeah, that's the only thing about it. And it's an SBR, like I said. Now, if it were a machine gun, it would not be an SBR, even though the barrel is shorter than 16 inches, okay? It would be a machine gun, a sub gun, all right? Barrel length it's rendered basically a non-issue, you know, when you have the machine gun license for the firearm, all right? So, pretty cool. Quite not an artifact, because this is a new one, but a piece of history, though, in general, isn't it? Especially through World War II, Korea. I don't know if they use these much in Vietnam, maybe some, but they're interesting, and I like them. John likes them a lot more than I do. I like them a lot because of the history. But oh my gosh, are they big, heavy clunkers. I would not have wanted to lug one of these around. Really. But, you know, I mean, they're fun. I've shot them full auto. They're fun, no doubt about it. So anyway, got that out today. So good to see you all. What are we going to talk about today? I don't know. All kinds of stupid stuff, probably. You know, that's what I do on Sundays, right, for the Sunday. Shoot around. Yeah, and then of course Talon grips, appreciate that. They're on my gun in my pocket. And one thing I wanted to mention about Ballistol is at SHOT Show I talked to those folks, and he showed me the one of the original type bottles. So kind of as I don't know if it was an anniversary thing, but they came out with yeah, I should know what the year. This stuff came out about 1905. So, you know, it's the turn of the century, 1900s. So it's been around over 100 years, I think around 115. But this was, I think, their first bottle. There's a picture somewhere here of the progression, or maybe that was on the container. Yeah, I guess it was. But of the different bottles, and, you know, there's the picture of it. You can see that. And this is one of the bottles they did. It's kind of it's a remake of it. So that's kind of neat, you know, since like 1900, 1905 or something. That's what they were using, you know, in Germany. these bottles, and it was used like from 1905 to 1945 or something in Germany for all sorts of things. Sewing machines, everything, guns, firearms, leather, wood, metal, and that's what it was come up with for. So that's kind of what I use it for. But that's a neat bottle. I think they should start offering that instead of the aerosol, don't you? Just pour it on. Now, I kind of like the convenience of the aerosol, but that's a neat bottle. I'll have to make sure somebody grabs that and tries to drink it. Looks like a bottle of whiskey, doesn't it? So anyway, I thought I'd show that. Glad to get that. I asked him to send me one of those. That was cool. So anyway, so I don't know what we're going to talk about. Probably nothing to talk about. Just guns and stupid stuff like that, right? Appreciate y'all tuning in to the Sunday shoot-arounds, and I do have another firearm here. Guess what? Speaking of that, 4 1/4 inch Python finally came. All right, so now we can do a chapter 2. Actually, it won't be a chapter 2. We'll do a video on this gun, and we'll show you the other one too. We'll shoot them both maybe. All right. So I took 3 shots of this, and thought I'd shoot it in today. Okay, for essentially the first time. I took 3 shots before y'all got here, and we'll load it up, shoot that. Okay. So maybe I'll just do it right now. How would that be? So hope everybody's doing okay. Some of you are getting out of the house a little bit now, at least. Some things are opening up, and it's still a crazy time, isn't it? Kind of. It's always a crazy time for me because I'm crazy. No, actually, for crazy people, they don't probably see the world as crazy or chaotic because, they create their own craziness, right? So, they're not bothered by the rest of the world like we are. Oh, man. Let's shoot this thing. Let's put some on that target. I'll go double action, see if it'll fire. Okay, fire double action. Try a single action. Let's see if I can get one on the gong. I think I missed it. I actually hit it with one earlier, one of those 3. But oh well. It hit me that I probably am okay on where the sights are. I forgot to bring a screwdriver because I thought I might need to raise them or lower them, and that's often the case. But it seemed to be of those 3 shots I took okay, and those didn't seem too bizarre. But I'll shoot the gong again. So anyway, a couple of cool guns out here I'm messing with, and yakking at you all in the process, right? So let me take the magazine out of this thing. I might reload the mag, and John doesn't have anything except the mag that came with it so far. So what am I going to talk about? Well, I appreciate the congratulations. A lot of you were congratulating us for the last few days on the 5 million subs we reached, and that's cool. That's cool. Appreciate the congratulations and compliments and insults and everything else. Because you're going to get both, right? If you're in this business, and you gotta love it all. You gotta love everybody. It is nice. The nicest thing about having a pretty good following in something you're doing that you like doing is once you get to the point, and many of you know this, and whatever your endeavor is, it could be YouTube. I know some of the other large YouTubers, friends and people we know watch us, but so I hear from you, but and would probably agree, one of the nice things about getting a pretty good following, I don't know what you call it, a satisfactory following. I won't say big enough. Everybody always wants a bigger following, but once you get a nice following and can do the things you want to do, and that enough people, like what you're doing, at least to some extent, at least to come back, it makes it more fun and easier to make certain you're just doing whatever you want to do, because that's what brought them to you, doing that. And so you definitely don't worry about the detractors, and of course the idiot trolls and all that kind of thing, people trying to be parasites off of you. It's like they're non-existent. And because you just can be really confident in the number of people that enjoy what you're doing, and you just keep doing that, right? Like, who would be dumb enough to quit doing what they're doing if they've got a pretty good following, or they have reached a level of success in anything they're doing, whether it's playing a sport or being an attorney or a teacher or just whatever the heck, a race car driver. And you know, so it's nice. It's a good place to be, whatever the number is if it's sufficient to kind of justify what you do. You know, that's really the main thing, I think. So it's pretty cool. I appreciate all the messages and comments. Boy, I wish I could. That's one of the frustrating things that I said before, because I'm not used to being. Now, here's a news flash for you. Somebody on social media that's not used to being rude. I actually was going to say that. I really don't like being rude to people. You know, I just never have. And I always feel like I'm being a little rude if I have to just skim through messages and don't have time to, you know, to answer messages. You know, whether it's on the Hickok 45 Facebook or anywhere. Although you do see, a lot of you know, I answered your message, or even on YouTube comments or whatever. I do get, yeah, I do some. I kind of allow a certain amount of time. I kind of skim through stuff in the morning, and then maybe if I'm here, if I'm in the house around lunchtime, I'll skim through stuff, and at night skim through, and I sort of, I guess I set a amount of time that I'm willing to devote to that as I skim through and answer a few and that sort of thing. That makes sense. Because there'll be no end to it. I'll just be at a computer my whole life. You know, I don't want to do that. I want to have a life and then still do this. So please don't be offended, even if I am being rude. Don't be offended if I don't answer your message, okay? And those of you with common sense would not be, right? I could show you some really cool messages you would think were funny. But people give me a really hard time. You really think you're somebody? You can't answer my message or whatever. Yeah, I know. I know what's wrong with me. Only got about 1 million people trying to get an answer from me. I don't know what's wrong with me. So anyway, that's the advantage. Most people have common sense, and I have enough common sense to realize that most of you have a lot of common sense. Again, that same group of folks that make this possible, you're who we're focused on. So I appreciate that. There will always be parasites, and it's just the way life is. What was I going to talk about? Well, you know, the Canadian thing I didn't mention last week, but isn't that sad? Isn't it sad? We really need to appreciate what we have, for one thing, here in the United States. And if you don't know, they banned about everything, you know, in Canada. A stroke of a pen, you know, without a Second Amendment. It's easier to do. It can be done even with a Second Amendment. Second Amendment is only as good as we are, the voters, judges, you know. Ask California or New Jersey or some of the states where the gun control is just onerous, you know. Well, they supposedly live under the Second Amendment, you know. Yeah, but when you get right down to it, it's what that judge on the bench says, right? And whether or not he or she throws you into jail for having a firearm, I don't know. It just depends, you know. And I probably see a comment once or twice a week at somebody, you know, making the statement that you know, I don't need a carry permit. The Constitution takes care of that for me. Yeah, it takes care of that for you until the judge says take him to the cell. You know, so I mean, really, that's why some people, they're really hardcore folks, they think that some people, including myself probably, are too namby-pamby. We're concerned too much about public opinion, trying to be a little too diplomatic and all that sort of thing. Well, the reason is the real war is with the people on the fence, basically. It's with our neighbors, as I've said before. It's our neighbors that are the enemy, all right, so to speak. I don't mean literally, but I mean they are literally in terms of who votes for what and how they vote. So the enemy are those people you're driving down the road with and that live in your neighborhood, okay? Because those are the ones who are voting, at least enough of them, are voting people into office that want to take your rights away, that love control over you and me. Yeah, they're the ones doing it. They want the control, I guess, or they're afraid of guns. They didn't grow up around firearms. They don't know anybody that shoots. They don't have anybody in their family that shoots. They don't know any normal people. Some of them, they don't know any normal people, sensible people that are into firearms, and so it's really easy for them to just go by what they see in the newspaper. Anybody read newspapers anymore? But what they see in the news. So we're battling for the hearts and minds of our neighbors, of people. That's why when we come off as Neanderthals, idiots, it's the worst thing we can do. Worst thing we can do. That's why a lot of people don't like that either. When there's a Second Amendment gathering, protest, or whatever, rally, people, we're an independent sort. We don't like to be told, try not to wear camouflage, or let's not have any Confederate flags, or let's not do this and that and that. And so it's understandable. Some people say, well, it's my right. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you can do what you want. Do what you want. Bring what you want. Wear what you want. Wave what you want. Free country. But if you want to affect the hearts and minds of those people that are voting to take away our rights, you might want to rethink some of that. That's who the battle is with, okay? It's not like we can show up at the Capitol and we all can strap on our ARs, and if enough of us do that and look tough enough, that those people inside the Capitol, whether it's state or at Washington, D.C., are going to change their way. No, probably not. Just the opposite. Probably just the opposite. So anyway, some things to think about. I wasn't even going to talk about that. How come you let me get off on that? Well, you know how I am. You know how I am. Anyway, we're fighting against the busybodies out there. All right, there's a lot of busybodies that they want to change things too, but not for the good. Right. So anyway, Canadian laws. Yeah, I feel sorry for those folks. There's nothing I can do. Again, I talked about this before. Why don't you do some videos on Canada? Do some videos. We get requests to do videos on everything, okay? And if you want to be our marketing manager, okay, we will hire you to be our marketing manager, all right? And we will look at your channel first and see what you're doing videos on and see how it's done for you, all right? We do what we do, and we try to keep you all aware. And since we started doing this, I've been reminding you over and over and over, especially in any kind of a vlog, to stay in touch with your representatives, be aware of what's going on in the state, nationally, and stay in communication with those people and do what you can. You may not have spoken to them blue in the face about all of that, but anyway, we keep reminding you of that. Nothing I can do. Again, it's those people that affect our freedoms, and they're driving down the road next to us. We've got to change the hearts and minds. We've got to be working on that constantly, okay, and staying in touch with the people that do pull the levers, Washington or your state house, But, once those laws are passed or they're all proposed because of the people we voted into office and all that sort of thing, you should be well aware of that. If you're not well aware of what's going on in your state, what laws are being proposed, I don't know, some goofball on YouTube probably isn't going to, make a difference in your brain. You need to be aware. You need to be aware and stay in touch with that, all right? So, anyway, we're all soldiers in the battle for the Second Amendment, okay? To maintain it. I think too many people, I'm not an expert on it, but I think too many people act as though it can never be taken away, okay? That it's just there. And it's just a matter of, like, me personally living as though Second Amendment gives me the right to convert this thing in my garage if I want to. There's nothing, that should prevent me from doing that. It's illegal. It's an illegal law that was passed that prevents me from doing that. because of the Second Amendment. Yeah, I mean, act like, hey, knock yourself out, and I'll see you in prison. Well, I won't see you in prison, but I'll probably hear about you being in prison, you know. But the Second Amendment is only as good as we are, you know, and the judges that get elected, representatives that get elected, you know, it's just that simple. Okay, so anyway, stay in touch with people, do what you can. It's a shame but the Canadians, you know, they don't have the Second Amendment, of course, in Australia either. And you see what's happened in both places. And there's that same push, was going to be my point, that same push is right here in the United States to outlaw all the same things. Like half the population almost wants to. They would love to. I mean, look at who half the population votes for. They would like the same thing here, so we got to stay vigilant. All right. What else was I going to talk about? Let me take a shot, can I? Do you care? Let's shoot this python again. This is the 4 1/4 inch. If you're brand new, and there's a lot of brand new people, not that I'm talking to babies that were just born this week, but there are a lot of new people to our channel. In fact, we turned, I guess, 5 million, but what, 5 or 6 days ago, and I think it's probably another 20,000. So by now, so that's a lot of people that probably haven't seen maybe any videos other than 1 or 2. And so, you know, fairly new. So hopefully you get around and check out enough videos to start getting an idea of what a weirdo I am. And don't judge too soon. You know, just take your time, dig through. There's about 1,800 videos. All of them are brilliant, of course. By the way, you notice I posted on the community board for the first time. I don't know if anybody looked at that, but I posted about having a link to our FAQ playlist, which is up to date, the FAQ video playlist. And I've seen a lot of comments, you know, coming through in those videos and things. So anyway, yeah, be aware of that. Go to that playlist. Those videos are about, I don't know, average probably about 1 minute, 45 seconds or something. And they answer all those questions that people have. And a lot of you new people have all those same questions, I'm sure. All right. Oh, I got Magnums in here, you realize? All right, let's try the gong. Yeah, I think I hit it. You got there so fast. Yeah, I think that hit it too. All right, I'm going to try a cowboy. Pretty nice. Missed the bowling pin. But, you know, it kicks a little bit for a 4 inch. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, I tried. I put a screwdriver. I left the screwdriver in the shop over there, but I did test that screw. And for those who are familiar with the saga of the 2020 Python, that was apparently one of the issues, is a side plate, or that screw. I don't know, because the side plate, even on our first one we had trouble with, look, it was flush. It wasn't like it was hanging loose or anything. But the screw might have been part of it turned loose or something. But I've noticed on this one and on, of course, the 6 inch one they sent back, that that screw won't turn. It won't loosen, won't tighten it. I mean, and so I'm not going to force it, of course, but I put a fair amount of pressure. Yeah, they've Loctited that sucker down, and so I don't know what all the fixing involved, but they're coming out with really tight side plates, and they may have changed something internally as well. I don't know, but so that was working, and the 6 incher is working too. So we'll do a video on this one, and we'll talk more about it and the original and everything. So pretty cool. And I did load this, didn't I? Yeah, I'll shoot that again too. What else was I going to brag about? I talk too much, I realize. You know, one of these days I'm going to say something, and it's going to come out wrong, and I'm going to offend about 1 million people, you know, and yeah, well, that's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. I mean, I guess it already has to some extent. You know, when I talk about the bump stocks or something like that, you know, something that's open to interpretation, and it's just the way it goes. You can't, you know, prevent that, of course, especially if somebody doesn't like you. You know, if I don't like you, I can follow you around and listen to you, and I can make notes on about half the things you say and make you sound like a villain of some sort, you know. If you're not familiar with the bump stocks, that's back when the NRA was taking a tactic with that I thought at the time was probably the best thing to do. You know, when after the Las Vegas shooting, it was during that week when it was so crazy. It was you had to be there, right? And you had to have your face on the TV like mine was, because with bump stock videos and everything else. But on the news, but I don't know what we were going to do, because they kept asking, the bump stock issue kept coming up. They were asking the NRA about it and make a statement and everything. And they finally said, we think the ATF should just rule on that. And because the ATF had ruled 2 or 3 times already on the bump stocks and said they don't violate anything, you know, I thought, and even posted as such, that man, the NRA probably made a smart move here. You know, that's probably the best thing to do. It sort of keeps them out of it. The ATF can look at it again. They're likely not to change what they have been saying about it. It looks silly. And that seemed like a right course of action. You know, brilliant move even. Well, turned out maybe it wasn't, you know, because the ATF, through political pressure, they did go back and interpret it differently, you know. And plus, since then, we've learned, haven't we, how our federal agencies just might not be as trustworthy as we thought. That they might just be influenced by politicians more than we ever expected, like the FBI, the IRS, and I guess maybe the ATF, and right on down. Yeah. We're learning a lot about our age, but anyway, yeah, I could. I've stepped in a couple of times, but you know, I would say the same thing again if I had to go back. But you know, on that topic, it's really sad, isn't it? That you know what I'm talking about, the IRS and the FBI and different things going on, regardless of what party you're in, and that's what's so sad about it. Those agencies should not be able to investigate people unnecessarily, without justification, whatever party they're in. They could be in the Communist Party. You know, whatever your philosophy is, as long as you're not hurting anybody, you're not planning to blow up some buildings or something, hey, yeah, people should be left alone. But, you know, whether it's the IRS or FBI, that just has not been happening, has it? And that's scary stuff. Scary stuff. Seeing more of it lately, too, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what's going to, I'm going to shoot this gun, but I don't know what's going to become of this crazy bug thing that's going around. But you've probably seen some more information on that this week, especially gun people. We tend to stay up with that kind of thing. And I don't know what to think about it. I think I told you, some things just didn't smell right to me the first few weeks. And I don't know. There's information out there now that kind of, I don't know if it gives us some answers to why things didn't smell right, but I don't know if they're the correct answers. You know, it's hard to know who to believe, isn't it? Everybody has an agenda. Everybody has an axe to grind, it seems like, or they probably do. And you've got to know what that agenda is, or what their axe is, or who they're trying to get back at, or what, you know, the politics of it. You just don't know for sure. But yeah, sometimes you can just smell it, can't you? You can just sort of smell when it doesn't seem right, you know. So I don't know. I would, again, just like with gun rights, with anything, especially in light of what I've said about the ATF, the FBI, the IRS, and everything that's gone on, we really need to do our research daily and know what's going on. You know, I hate to admit it, I just don't trust big daddy government as much as I used to, you know, in my younger years. I don't, because it's people, you know, and they have figured out, so many people, how to use government agencies in different ways, and I'm not as trusting as I used to be. We really, really need to keep an eye on all of that. I mean, it's just become so apparent, it really is. You know, we can't just walk around with rose-colored glasses. You know, if we ever did, we can't do that anymore, because there's just a lot of corrupt people. Most people are not corrupt, but there are some, you know, and the old thing about power corrupting and absolute power corrupting, absolutely, or at least it has that potential to. We've really got to stay with people. If you're young, I don't mean to be a pessimist or too much of a skeptic or try to get you jaded, you know, but really you do. You need to watch people. You need to be aware of what the agenda might be, because most people have an agenda in almost everything, you know, so ask yourself what it is. What's their motivation? Or what might be their motivation, right? Yeah. Why do John and I do these gun videos? What's our real motivation? Yeah, there's probably a conspiracy involved. Well, no, we want you to watch, we want you to learn, and we also get to make a living doing it. Yeah, that's our motivation. Yeah, so that's it. It's out there. But you know, lots of times you just don't know. There seems to be some kind of agenda, and you can't put your finger on what it might be, right? So anyway, I don't know. I don't mean to be a pessimist this week, but it's a crazy world we live in. Do I have that bolt back? I do, don't I? Let's shoot some more of these. All right, model 1927 A1. John's baby. He loves these things. He really does. Oh, man. All right. Oh, okay, bolt forward. Okay. We're all safe. We're ready to fire. Let's pop that. Let's see. How about the coffin? All right, how about something right here? Yeah, John's got to get some bigger magazines for this thing, right? And he will. Oh man, that thing is heavy. It is heavy. Woo! Tell you what, one of those full auto, you know what they sell for? Now, anywhere from 20, 30,000, 40,000. I mean, they're just incredibly expensive now. They're a piece of history, and then of course, plus being full auto, select fire. They were select fire, weren't they? I think so. I don't know. I forget now. I've shot one and been around it. Yeah, sometimes I think they are. Some firearms, military sub guns, that kind of thing. I'm trying to think which one it is. It's just go or not go. It's full auto or nothing. But sometimes they're not, because that's what they're designed for. So anyway, pretty cool firearm. What else were we going to talk about? Oh man, I don't know. I'm probably running. Did I start the timer? I don't want to go too long on you. Yeah, I didn't even start it. So I haven't started yet. I haven't said a word yet, right? So I hope that everybody's making it okay, and you get through this. And I hope we're seeing kind of the worst of it, but I don't know. You just don't know. We don't really know what kind of impact this is going to have on the economy yet. We really don't. We're sort of, I think we're in a weird stage of limbo here, where until things open up totally, I'm not sure we're going to really know, and we find out whose jobs are actually missing permanently. I mean, that's a thing. We don't really know how many jobs have been lost permanently. How many companies are not going to open back up. We don't know that yet. We know that most of the country is shut down still. I mean, it's so silly to quote a unemployment numbers right now. This is goofy. The news media loves it. 3 million, registered for unemployment. Well, no kidding, idiot. They shut down the country. It's probably 100 million. That's so stupid because it's so dramatic. It is dramatic. But the real number that's of interest, that means something, is a couple of months from now, or 3 months from now, 4 months, when everything is opened up again. They say there's no restrictions, okay? Then how many companies will know have gone out of business permanently? They're not even going to try to open back up. And so we'll have more realistic numbers on what the unemployment rate is, won't we? And so I don't know. It could be pretty scary. Yeah, it could be. It could affect, even if your job is open, your company is still going to plan to crank along, as it always did, or whatever. There could be some key companies or providers that are associated with your company that affect your company, in ways you didn't foresee, that require your company to reduce its staff or something, or change directions. And we just don't know yet what all the ramifications are going to be for closing down, the country, aside from the health issue, right? So, and that's what concerns so many people. That's what's so goofy about this left-right split on this thing is turned into. Some people is that, I can argue both sides, but some people live their lives as though it should be the safest, most perfect environment that they can possibly make, and it's never going to be that. Never going to be that. I was in a gun shop today, believe it or not, and it's interesting when you go to if you go to an outdoor, and I've been in Bass Pro last week, getting an archery target and everything, and you can, when you go into basically outdoor stores, okay, sportsman stores of some sort where people are involved in the outdoor sports, put it that way, it's more normal than other places. Have you noticed that? It's more normal. And I don't know, I guess because people who are into outdoor sports, hunting and archery and different things, firearms, they're more, they've come to terms with the risk and the risks of the world, maybe. I don't know. And they're not huddled up in a corner, Nobody wants to get sick, but I don't know. It's interesting observation to me that the environment seems, pretty much normal in those places. It really does. And then you go to maybe some other area or even a store that's open, a little grocery or whatever it might be, and, everybody's creeping around like they're about to die, like any minute. It's just an interesting observation I've noticed. So. But anyway, I don't know how I got on that. It's the same way I get off on everything, right? Yakking. So I've been having a lot of fun, been shooting a lot of guns, a couple of new ones right here that we're going to have fun with and mess with. Been shooting some muzzle loading, black powder, black powder. Model 97 had that thing out, the shotgun, classic. So got another, an M&P in this week that we'll be shooting, 45 caliber, Smith & Wesson M&P. And what else? Shot some 38 special through you haven't seen that, the LCRX, I guess, yet, snubby. So there's so many guns that I lose track sometimes. It's a terrible job I have, and that's why I constantly remind you and let you know that I do know how lucky I am. I get to shoot a lot of different firearms and get to enjoy them and mess with them and have a place to do it. So, yep, I should feel really bad. I should feel very guilty, and I don't, but I probably should, right? And it's great. I mean, I get this Python to shoot this week, but I do show them and do share them with you all, okay? You have to admit, I do share them with you all. So we're having fun when we can, and trying to be safe. We'll see how it goes over the next weeks and months in terms of this bug that's out there. And I'm just beginning to wonder what kinds of responsibilities are going to come out here from different areas. Boy, there's sure a lot of stuff out there on the web about some strange goings on and responsibilities and attacks on people. Imagine that. That's the thing, and I'll wrap it up here. But that's the problem. When you see a video or some claims that make some sense, but wow, flies in the face of what you've been told. Or things like that actually make sense. Wow, yeah, that makes sense. But then again, is there an agenda you're not aware of with that? Because we have this crazy piece of human nature that's always looking for some famous event, a famous person, what else? Just anything that already is in the news, okay? Anything else that's already getting attention, okay? It could be a sports figure, a sports team. It could be anything, a politician. They're in the limelight to some extent, all right? Okay, for whatever reason, because of whatever their achievements are, whatever. Well, then a big chunk of the rest of the world is trying to get their piece of attention through knocking that person or that event maybe off its pedestal, or doing something to jump in front of the camera to get attention, to get their piece of attention, to get their clicks, their money, or whatever it might be. So it's just hard to know. It's hard to know. If I were a sports writer, for example, I think I've said this before, a young upstart sports writer, nobody's going to pay attention to me. I'm writing for some blog not many people have heard of. I started to say newspaper. Anybody write for a newspaper anymore? Well, I might be a pretty good writer, but I don't know who's going to notice me. I know what I can do. Let me write a series of articles on Tom Brady, or on the Dallas Cowboys. And I can surely find some kind of dirt, or I can find something somebody has said in those organizations, or Tom Brady has said, that might just make it sound like something preposterous I can sort of make up. And I'll get a lot of attention for this series of articles, and I'll get a lot of criticism, but I'll get a lot of attention. I'll put my name on the map, So you just never know. You just never know. It takes a lot of scrutiny, and I think it takes more intelligence than I have. It takes more than a lot of us have. It's hard to know what the truth is. It really is. The problem is we all want to know the truth so bad, and we think we have this drive to know things. Think about all the religions. There are a lot of people walking around this planet that know the truth, right? So that's also part of human nature. We just want to know the truth on everything. And if we don't know the truth, we know it anyway, right? We spread. So we got that going. That's just part of human nature. We don't want to be in doubt. We can't handle that gray area. We have a hard time handling doubt. If we don't know the truth, we gotta adopt a truth, okay? We just feel better if we adopt a truth of some sort, whatever the topic is. And so you got that, so I don't know. It's a crazy world. It really is. People are just crazy. Yeah. So my answer to it is, here's what you want to do. Pick out a hobby you like. Move out into the country and just do it. and avoid human beings altogether. Just kidding. Don't do that. You can't do that too well. Can't do that. Everybody is not crazy. There actually are a lot of sensible people in the world. And I'll end with that because on a positive note, because I've talked about some cynical, negative, skeptical things today, I get a barrage of things that as I'm skimming through, I see people just making a lot of sense. Messages and comments, not because you like me, I don't mean that. I mean just really sensible people, sharing thoughts on things in an intelligent manner. There's just a lot of smart people around. And as is always the case, that small slice of absolute idiots, gets more attention, than they really deserve by far. Just the nature of the world today, nature of social media, just the nature of media in general, right? Most people really do have some sense. Think about the people you hang out with that you see live. I'm not talking virtually on your computer screen. I'm talking about the people you see as you move around during the day, you talk to. Whether it's at the grocery clerk, the manager you talk to, or at your church, at your school, your community, just as you move around, your neighbors. You got some characters, right? But most people are fairly sensible. Okay, so we'll end on a positive note. But now that's because they're in the real world. It's the virtual world is where the real weirdos reside, right? So anyway, I'll let you go, and I apologize for the weird discussion today. I'm not sure why I got so unusually weird. I'm used to being weird, okay? I'm accustomed to being strange. I've lived with myself a long time. But I just felt a little like a rather weird discussion today. Maybe it was a strange mood. I don't know. I'm not like feeling weird necessarily, or I'm not depressed. I'm feeling just fine, and I have a couple of cool guns to shoot. But anyway, I just kind of got off on some stuff. It's odd times. It is, with this bug going around, and I'll tell you something I try to take into consideration when I see some weird comments coming out of people. I mean, you always have that, but people are been housebound for a long time, and I think that people maybe who otherwise would, I don't know, be more, I don't know about normal, but sensible, might be losing their senses a little bit. It's a tough time. Anyway, we will get through it, though. Most of us are going to be of you. I am back to work. I've never left work, but not that it's work. But most of you are probably slowly either getting back to work, or you can see the light at the end of the tunnel where you're probably going to be getting back to work. And even if your job is closed down, some company you work for, once the economy gets back up and cranking, there'll be other opportunities, and it might turn out to be a blessing in disguise, as they say. Yep, I've had that happen several times in my life. Things have happened that brought me to a different point, and that worked out pretty well. So you just never know until some time passes. So I'm gonna let you go before I get even more strange, and I'll talk to you next week, and I'll probably see you in a video. Hope you enjoyed the archery video. Yeah, I'm enjoying doing that. We won't barrage you with archery videos because a lot of you have no interest, but some of you do. You keep asking for more videos. So every now and then we'll do an archery video and shoot some of those evil animals lurking in my woods. Okay, yeah, because I bring them out every now and then and use them for targets. Pretty heartless, aren't I? Yeah, I really am. I just have no heart, no concern for my fellow animals. It's terrible. Just shoot them over and over and over, whether they're made of metal or they're made of foam. They just don't have a chance with me. I guess I just don't like them. But that's what makes life's so good. And yes, life is good.